Cleveland is on fire right now. And no, I'm not talking about a win streak. I'm talking about the biggest media meltdown of the season, all sparked by one simple, brutal question. Why is Shedeur even here? Those 6 words, delivered by Cleveland radio legend Tony Rizzo, have Browns fans absolutely losing their minds. The phone lines lit up. Twitter went nuclear. Every sports talk show in the city turned into a therapy session overnight. And suddenly, rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders wasn't just a 5th-round draft pick. He became the most controversial player on the roster without even taking a single snap. But here's what makes this story so fascinating. The controversy isn't really about Shedeur. It's about everything Cleveland has been through the past 25 years. The quarterback carousel, the wasted draft picks, the front office chaos, the hope, the heartbreak. It's about a fan base that's been burned so many times that they can't even recognize smart roster management when they see it. Think about the timing here. The Browns are sitting on a monster Deshaun Watson contract that's become one of the ugliest situations in the NFL. They just signed Joe Flacco to keep the season alive. Dylan Gabriel is waiting as the backup. Bailey Zapp is running scout team. And somewhere in that quarterback room sits Shedeur Sanders, not running scout team, not taking practice reps, just waiting. To the media, that's a scandal. To Tony Rizzo, it's a joke. But to the Browns' front office, it's the entire point. Because here's the truth that nobody on Cleveland talk radio wants to admit. This is the smartest quarterback plan the Browns have had in decades. For the first time in years, this franchise isn't panicking. They're not throwing a rookie to the wolves. They're not burning through draft picks just to see what happens. They're protecting an asset. And yet, Cleveland media is acting like the sky is falling. This is where the story gets really interesting, because this isn't just about football anymore. It's about trust. It's about whether fans can believe that the Browns have actually learned from 20 years of mistakes. It's about whether Cleveland is ready to break the quarterback curse or whether they're doomed to repeat history. So in this video, we're going to break down exactly what happened, why the outrage might be completely misplaced, and why Shedeur Sanders sitting on the sidelines might be the best thing that's happened to the Browns since they drafted Myles Garrett. If you care about the future of this team, if you care about finally having a franchise quarterback who is built the right way, then buckle up. Because what's happening with Shedeur right now is either a disaster in the making or the start of something that could change Cleveland football forever. Picture this. It's another morning in Cleveland, the kind where sports talk radio is buzzing like a beehive. Listeners are sipping their coffee, bracing for the latest drama surrounding the Browns. And then Tony Rizzo, a guy who's been covering Cleveland sports for decades, leans into the microphone and drops a bombshell. Why is Shedeur even here? The studio goes quiet for half a beat. You can almost hear the collective gasp from Browns fans across Northeast Ohio. Rizzo doesn't stop there. He doubles down, pointing out that according to his sources, Shedeur Sanders isn't even running scout team. He's just standing there, watching, learning, doing nothing that fans can see. And that's when the firestorm begins. Phone lines light up. Social media explodes. Within hours, local TV stations and sports blogs are running with the story. Rizzo questions Brown's plan for rookie QB. Clips of the moment go viral. Fans argue in the comments, some agreeing that it's a waste of a roster spot, others defending the team's long-term vision. But let's slow down for a second. Why did this moment hit so hard? Why did one question send the city into meltdown mode? Because in Cleveland, quarterback talk isn't just sports talk, it's emotional therapy. This fan base has endured 25 years of quarterback heartbreak. Every failed draft pick, every bust, every ill-timed injury has left scars. So when a respected voice like Tony Rizzo questions the plan, it hits deep. It reopens those old wounds. Rizzo's question wasn't just about Shedeur. It was about trust. It was about whether this franchise has learned anything from the countless times they've mishandled young quarterbacks. It was about whether the front office is once again asleep at the wheel, or whether they might actually be doing something right for once. What makes this moment even more powerful is Rizzo's credibility. He's not some click-chasing YouTuber or a hot-take artist. He's a Cleveland institution. When he says something's wrong, people listen. And that's what makes this the perfect spark for the media firestorm that followed. But here's the twist. The more you dig into the facts, the more it becomes clear that Rizzo might have missed the bigger picture. Instead of exposing dysfunction, his question might have accidentally revealed just how serious the Browns are about building for the future. This is where the story starts to turn, because once you understand what's really happening inside that quarterback room, the narrative shifts completely. Shedeur Sanders not running scout team isn't a red flag. It's a sign of a carefully crafted plan. And that's exactly what we're going to break down in the next section, how Cleveland media took this story and ran with it, and why that reaction tells you more about the city's pain than it does about the Browns' strategy. If Section 1 was the spark, Section 2 is where the fire turned into a full-blown blaze. The moment Tony Rizzo's clip hit the airwaves, Cleveland's sports ecosystem went into overdrive. Talk shows replayed the segment on a loop. Podcasters dissected every syllable. Social media turned into a war zone, with hashtags like Free Shedeur and Browns QB Chaos trending by the afternoon. And if you know Cleveland, you know this isn't just normal football chatter. This is a city that lives and breathes its teams. When Rizzo questioned why Shedeur Sanders was even on the roster, it wasn't just a casual comment. It felt like a call to arms for every frustrated Browns fan who's been sitting on years of pent-up quarterback rage. Sports radio stations quickly picked sides. Some hosts piled on, echoing Rizzo's outrage. Why waste a draft pick if you're not even going to use the kid? Scout team is where young quarterbacks cut their teeth. What's Cleveland doing? Others pushed back, arguing this was all overblown. Not running scout team is actually a good sign. It means they see him as more than a practice body. This is long-term thinking, not incompetence. But the nuance didn't matter. The narrative was already spinning out of control. Every blog headline screamed controversy. Browns benching rookie QB before he even starts. Cleveland wastes draft pick on Shedeur Sanders. By the time local TV news got involved, the story had ballooned into something bigger than it ever needed to be. Fans were calling into shows demanding answers from Kevin Stefanski. Some even suggested the team was only keeping Shedeur around to sell jerseys, as if the front office was running a merchandise scheme instead of a football team. This is where you really start to see Cleveland's football trauma on full display. The city has been burned so many times by quarterback decisions that every move is met with suspicion. Draft a quarterback early? You'll ruin him. Sit a quarterback for a year. You're wasting him. Trade for a veteran. You're mortgaging the future. There is no winning with this fan base unless you're, well, winning on Sundays. The irony is that this meltdown said far more about Cleveland than it did about Shedeur. Fans weren't just mad about scout team reps. They were mad about 25 years of bad football decisions. They were mad about Brady Quinn. They were mad about Johnny Manziel. They were mad about every promising QB who was rushed into action and broken by this franchise's dysfunction. And that's what makes this controversy so fascinating. On the surface, it's about one rookie quarterback not running practice reps. But underneath, it's about whether this city is ready to embrace something it hasn't seen in decades, a patient, disciplined plan to finally break the quarterback curse. Here's the hard truth that Cleveland media seems to have completely missed. Being a rookie quarterback in the NFL isn't about instant impact. It's not about proving yourself in the first practice, or even taking scout team reps like some kind of audition. It's about growth, learning, and positioning yourself to become the franchise quarterback your team desperately needs. And that's exactly what Shedeur Sanders is doing, whether fans see it or not. When you draft a quarterback in the 5th round, which is exactly where the Browns found Shedeur, the expectation isn't to take over the starting job immediately. Sure, there are rare exceptions, but those players are usually generational talents drafted at the top of the 1st round. For everyone else, the path to success is methodical. It's about studying the playbook until every route, every defensive coverage, every wrinkle becomes second nature. It's about watching veterans like Joe Flacco and Dylan Gabriel in practice, learning how they handle pressure, how they read defenses, how they avoid costly mistakes. And that's why the scout team situation makes perfect sense. Bailey Zapp, a 4-year NFL veteran, is running scout team reps. He's mimicking different defensive looks, including the unique movement patterns of quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson. Why? Because it's safer and smarter for Shedeur to observe rather than be forced into reps that could stunt his development or even risk injury. Think of it like medical school. You don't start performing surgeries on day 1. You study, you observe, you learn from the experts, and then you step into the operating room fully prepared. Shedeur Sanders is essentially Cleveland's quarterback in training mode. He's learning at the highest level, absorbing the system, mastering the nuances of NFL defenses, and building the foundation that will allow him to succeed when his opportunity finally comes. Every film session, every meeting with coaches, every drop back he studies is a brick in the wall of his long-term development. This is why patience is key. The Browns have made the mistake countless times in the past of rushing quarterbacks into action, and it's cost them dearly. Look at the history. Quarterbacks have been thrust into starting roles too early, careers have been derailed, and potential franchise cornerstones have been wasted. Shedeur represents a different approach, one rooted in strategy rather than desperation. The media sees a rookie not running scout team reps and thinks the team is wasting a roster spot. The fans see it and panic, because their experience has taught them to expect chaos. But the reality is far more calculated. The Browns are building a quarterback the right way, slowly, strategically, and intelligently. Every day Shedeur spends developing without unnecessary pressure is a day closer to having a quarterback who can not only handle the NFL but thrive in it. In short, Shedeur isn't wasting time. He's building the kind of foundation that turns a 5th-round pick into a franchise cornerstone. And while the media debates scout team assignments, the Browns are quietly playing the long game, and history shows that teams who invest in development over drama usually come out ahead. What most people don't see in all this media chaos is the method behind the Browns' madness. While Cleveland talk shows and social media commentators are spinning out of control over scout team reps, the front office is quietly executing a strategy that could set the franchise up for decades. This isn't a rookie quarterback sitting idle. This is calculated, long-term planning at its finest. Head coach Kevin Stefanski and the Browns' management team have made it abundantly clear. Shedeur Sanders is not being rushed. They're not judging his value by how well he performs in practice drills or how many scout team reps he takes in his first months. They're focusing on development, preparation, and long-term potential, understanding that patience now will pay massive dividends later. Think about it for a second. Cleveland has been through quarterback turmoil for decades. The city has seen high draft picks fail, veterans implode, and promising rookies get thrown into impossible situations. The result? A revolving door at the most important position in football. The lesson is painfully clear. Rushing a quarterback is a recipe for disaster. Stefanski and the Browns have clearly learned that lesson, and they're applying it. By letting Bailey Zapp run scout team, the Browns are making a strategic choice. Zapp, a 4-year NFL veteran, can replicate different defensive looks, mimic opposing quarterbacks, and give the starters quality practice without risking Shedeur's development. Meanwhile, Shedeur can observe, study film, and learn the intricacies of NFL defenses. He's building mental toughness, understanding the nuances of the playbook, and preparing for a time when he will be ready to lead. This hidden strategy also considers the broader context of the roster. With Joe Flacco as the experienced starter and Dylan Gabriel as the immediate backup, the Browns are managing risk carefully. Shedeur doesn't need to prove himself today. He needs to grow into a player who can dominate tomorrow. Every practice, every meeting, every snap he watches is part of a structured development plan that most fans and media completely overlook. And let's not forget the financial side. Cleveland is still tied to Deshaun Watson's massive contract, essentially dead money that restricts options for immediate quarterback changes. By investing in Shedeur, the Browns are hedging their bets. They're preparing for the future while minimizing the risk of repeating past mistakes. It's a rare example of foresight in a franchise that hasn't historically shown much of it. In short, What looks like inactivity or confusion from the outside is actually chess-level thinking. While the media focuses on drama, the Browns are building a quarterback the smart way, with strategy, patience, and precision. They're creating an environment where Shedeur Sanders can develop into a franchise cornerstone without being rushed or exposed to unnecessary risk. Cleveland fans might not fully appreciate it yet, but this is a pivotal moment. The Browns aren't chasing headlines. They aren't reacting to pressure. They're quietly crafting a plan that could finally deliver the stability and success this city has been waiting for. And when Shedeur finally steps onto the field as a ready, polished quarterback, every skeptic, every critic, and every loud-mouthed media personality is going to have to eat their words. You can't talk about Shedeur Sanders' rookie situation without addressing the massive shadow looming over the Cleveland Browns: Deshaun Watson's contract. Make no mistake, Watson is one of the most high-profile, high-cost players in the league, and for Cleveland, that investment has become a complicated puzzle. His massive contract is essentially dead money on the books for now, meaning the team is financially handcuffed and must carefully manage the quarterback room without risking further chaos. Here's the reality. You can't throw Shedeur Sanders into the fire recklessly when your team is already carrying the burden of a multi-million-dollar contract for a quarterback who isn't in play. Doing so would be reckless, both financially and strategically. It's like trying to run a marathon with both feet tied. The risk far outweighs the reward. Yet that's exactly the kind of panic Cleveland media wants you to believe is happening. They see a rookie not running scout team reps and immediately assume dysfunction. The truth is the exact opposite. Instead of rushing Shedeur, the Browns are managing risk and planning for the future. Watson's contract might dominate headlines and salaries, but it also frees the Browns to take a longer view. They can groom a young quarterback behind veteran guidance, allowing Shedeur to learn the system, understand defenses, and grow into the NFL game without the pressure of immediate production. This is textbook forward-thinking, preparing for life after Watson while protecting the investment they made in Shedeur. Let's not underestimate the significance of this strategy. In Cleveland's history, quarterbacks have been rushed into starting roles with disastrous results. First-round picks, highly touted rookies, and even veteran acquisitions have all faced the same fate, thrown into impossible situations before they were ready. This franchise has learned that lesson the hard way, and Shedeur Sanders is the first quarterback in years to benefit from a patient, measured approach. By keeping Shedeur off scout team duties, the Browns are protecting their asset while ensuring Watson's presence doesn't destabilize development. Every practice, every film session, every opportunity to study veteran QBs is an investment in Cleveland's long-term success. This is a rare example of a franchise learning from its past mistakes and applying those lessons in real time. And here's the kicker. Fans who panic over scout team reps are missing the bigger picture. While the media obsesses over who is running what drill, the Browns are quietly crafting a quarterback of the future, one who could not only survive but thrive in a league where rookie QBs are often set up to fail. Shedeur isn't a placeholder. He's a cornerstone. Watson's contract is just part of the backdrop that makes Shedeur's careful development even more critical. In short, the Deshaun Watson situation underscores why Cleveland's strategy with Shedeur is brilliant. They're managing a difficult financial and roster scenario while building for the long term. The front office isn't panicking. The coaching staff isn't rushing. They're executing a plan that most teams would envy. And when Shedeur finally takes the field, the city will see just how smart this patient, calculated approach truly is. If there's one thing that separates Shedeur Sanders from just another rookie quarterback, it's the combination of talent, intelligence, and poise he brings to the field. This isn't a player who relies solely on raw athleticism or a flashy college highlight reel. Shedeur has the mental makeup, the technical precision, and the football IQ that make him a legitimate candidate to be a franchise quarterback, and it's exactly why the Browns are investing so carefully in his development. First, let's talk pocket presence. Shedeur's ability to read defenses, anticipate pressure, and make decisions under duress is elite. This isn't something that develops overnight. It comes from years of disciplined training, study, and instinct. Watching him in college, It was clear that he has a natural feel for when to step up in the pocket, when to throw off balance, and when to avoid disaster. That kind of awareness is invaluable in the NFL, where split-second decisions can make or break a game. Next is his accuracy and precision. Shedeur consistently delivers the football where it needs to go, even in high-pressure situations. That's a skill that separates good quarterbacks from great ones. It's not just about arm strength, it's about timing, anticipation, and understanding receiver tendencies. And Cleveland has seen far too many quarterbacks with arm talent but poor decision-making. Shedeur combines both, a rare and dangerous combination for opposing defenses. Then there's football IQ. Shedeur isn't just reading defenses, he's learning to dissect them. He can anticipate blitzes, identify coverage schemes, and adjust protections on the fly. That ability to process complex information quickly is what allows a quarterback to control a game rather than react to it. And this intelligence is exactly why the Browns are confident allowing him to observe rather than run scout team. Every film session he watches, every meeting he attends, adds to a foundation that will make him NFL ready when the time comes. Equally important is his mental toughness. Playing quarterback in the NFL is as much psychological as it is physical. Pressure is constant, criticism is relentless, and mistakes are magnified. Shedeur has already proven he can handle scrutiny, adapt to challenges, and remain focused on improvement. That kind of resilience is rare in rookies, and it's exactly why Cleveland can afford to be patient with him. Finally, his leadership and adaptability stand out. Shedeur has the ability to elevate the play of those around him. His teammates trust him, coaches respect him, and fans are starting to notice his presence. He comes from a football family that understands the business, giving him an edge in maturity that few rookies possess. He's not just a player learning a system, he's a quarterback building a team around him. Put it all together: elite pocket presence, pinpoint accuracy, advanced football IQ, mental toughness, and leadership, and you see why the Browns are treating Shedeur like the future of the franchise. They aren't risking his development with unnecessary scout team reps. They are protecting a rare talent, nurturing him into the kind of quarterback who can lead Cleveland out of decades of uncertainty. In short, Shedeur Sanders isn't just a rookie sitting on the sidelines. He's the cornerstone of a long-term plan, a player whose unique skill set demands careful cultivation, and the best hope Cleveland has had in years for a true franchise quarterback. To fully appreciate why the Browns' careful handling of Shedeur Sanders is so revolutionary, you have to understand the history that haunts this franchise. For decades, Cleveland has been synonymous with quarterback heartbreak, a revolving door of busted drafts, washed-up veterans, and highly touted rookies thrown into impossible situations. Fans call it a quarterback curse, and for good reason. Take a trip down memory lane. There was Tim Couch, the first overall pick in 1999, who arrived with high expectations but was left to struggle behind a team that couldn't protect him or build around him. Or Brady Quinn, a first-round talent in 2007, who never had the time or guidance to develop and ended up as another cautionary tale. And let's not forget Johnny Manziel, the flashy young quarterback whose off-field distractions and rushed playing time turned potential into chaos. These examples are more than just names on a list, they're a pattern. For decades, the Browns have either forced quarterbacks into the starting role too early or invested in high-profile veterans who were past their prime. The result? Missed opportunities, wasted draft capital, and a fan base that learned to expect disappointment. Every new rookie was scrutinized not just for what they could do on the field, but for whether they would be the next victim of Cleveland's quarterback cycle. And that history feeds directly into the current outrage over Shedeur Sanders. Fans see a rookie not running scout team reps and immediately panic, thinking, here we go again. The media amplifies this panic, painting a picture of incompetence. But here's the crucial distinction: Shedeur is not being rushed. Cleveland has finally recognized that the curse exists because of impatience, not talent. They're breaking the pattern by taking a calculated, measured approach, letting him grow, learn, and develop into a quarterback capable of leading the franchise for years. The curse isn't just about failed quarterbacks, it's about the system that surrounds them. A quarterback is only as good as the team, coaching staff, and development plan around him. For years, the Browns failed in every aspect of that system. But now, with Kevin Stefanski and a strategic front office, the pieces are finally coming together. Shedeur isn't a flash-in-the-pan solution. He's the product of a team willing to correct decades of mistakes. And the irony is striking. The very fan base that panicked over Tony Rizzo's question is the same group that lived through these disasters. Their trauma makes them skeptical of patience, yet patience is precisely what Cleveland needs to finally lift the quarterback curse. Shedeur Sanders represents a break in the cycle, a rookie who isn't rushed, who isn't exposed prematurely, and who is being nurtured with the same care that every failed QB in the past deserved but never received. In essence, the quarterback curse is real, but it is Shedeur's problem, it's Cleveland's history. And for the first time in decades, the Browns are showing signs that they know how to break it. By letting Shedeur develop without unnecessary pressure, they're building a future where the term quarterback curse may finally become a relic of the past. If there's one thing to take away from everything we've covered, it's this. Cleveland fans finally have a reason to be excited, not worried. For decades, this city has endured quarterback mismanagement, dashed hopes, and countless heartbreaks. Every rookie brought in was either rushed, mishandled, or set up to fail. But Shedeur Sanders represents a break from all of that, a real chance to finally get it right. It's easy to get caught up in the noise, the media headlines, the Twitter debates, the hot takes from radio hosts. They want you to panic. They want you to question every decision. But fans who take a step back will see something much more important happening behind the scenes: patience, planning, and preparation. This isn't chaos. This isn't a wasted roster spot. This is Cleveland playing chess while the critics are stuck playing checkers. Shedeur Sanders isn't just another rookie quarterback. He's the cornerstone of a long-term strategy that prioritizes development over drama, growth over immediate gratification, and intelligence over reactionary decisions. Every moment he spends learning the system, studying defenses, and refining his mechanics is a moment closer to Cleveland, finally having the franchise quarterback the city has been craving for decades. And here's the emotional truth. Fans can be part of this journey. Shedeur's presence on the roster is more than just football, it's hope. It's the promise that for the first time in years, Cleveland isn't just reacting to the latest disaster. They're building for the future. Every film session he studies, every drill he watches, every veteran insight he absorbs is part of a carefully orchestrated plan to bring stability and success back to this city. The lesson here is simple but powerful. Don't let the noise fool you. The controversy about scout team reps, practice drills, or media speculation isn't about Shedeur Sanders. It's about Cleveland's collective anxiety after years of disappointment. But this time, the strategy is sound. The plan is real. And when Shedeur finally steps onto the field as the prepared, confident, and capable quarterback he's becoming, all the critics, all the skeptics, all the naysayers will be proven wrong. For fans, the takeaway is clear. Trust the process, embrace patience, and believe in the vision. This is a rare opportunity to witness a quarterback being developed the right way, one who has the talent, intelligence, and mindset to lead a franchise out of decades of uncertainty. Shedeur Sanders is more than just a player. He's a symbol of hope, a reflection of smart decision-making, and a potential game-changer for a city that has waited far too long for stability at the most important position in football. So the next time someone questions why Shedeur Sanders is on the roster, remember this moment. Remember that patience wins. Remember that sometimes the smartest moves look boring from the outside, but the payoff is monumental. Cleveland finally has a plan. Cleveland finally has a future. And Shedeur Sanders is at the heart of it, ready, developing, and preparing to take this franchise to heights it hasn't seen in decades. And there you have it. The story of Shedeur Sanders on the Cleveland Browns isn't just about scout team reps, rookie controversy, or media panic. It's about vision, patience, and the birth of something truly special in a city that has endured decades of quarterback uncertainty. If you've been following this drama, it's easy to get caught up in the noise, the hot takes, the debates, the panic-filled headlines. But step back for a moment and look at the bigger picture. Cleveland isn't just surviving another off-season. They're quietly, methodically, and intelligently building a quarterback of the future. Shedeur Sanders represents more than just a player on the roster. He embodies the Browns' commitment to long-term success. Every practice session he observes, every playbook page he studies, and every moment he spends learning the NFL game is a step toward the day he will finally take the field fully prepared. Unlike past rookies who were rushed, mishandled, or left exposed, Shedeur is being nurtured into a quarterback capable of leading a franchise. And that's something Cleveland fans should not only understand, they should embrace it. Here's the truth. It's easy to panic. It's easy to listen to critics, to obsess over who's running scout team or which media personality is raising alarm bells. But real success isn't built on panic. It's built on preparation, strategy, and trust in the process. Shedeur Sanders is living proof that the Browns are finally thinking in the long term, protecting their investment, and giving a young quarterback the environment he needs to thrive. And for fans, there's an exciting opportunity here. You get to witness the beginning of a potential franchise quarterback's journey from the very start. You get to see Cleveland finally break free from the quarterback curse, a curse that has haunted the team for decades. Every day Shedeur develops, every snap he studies, every lesson he absorbs brings Cleveland closer to stability, success, and hope, something fans have longed for generations. So here's what you can do. Stay engaged, stay informed, and stay patient. Don't let the media noise or fleeting controversies distract you from the bigger story. The Browns aren't reacting. They're building. And Shedeur Sanders is at the center of that plan. Support the process. Celebrate the development. Recognize that sometimes the quietest moves off the field have the loudest impact on the future. And of course, if you want to keep up with every update on Shedeur Sanders, every development in the Browns' quarterback room, and every strategic move this franchise makes, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. We'll be covering all the highs, the lows, and the behind-the-scenes stories that the mainstream media might overlook. This is your front row seat to witness a potential NFL star rise the right way. So remember, patience isn't passive, preparation isn't boring, and the smartest moves are often the quietest. Cleveland finally has a plan. Shedeur Sanders is the future. And if you follow this journey closely, you'll see firsthand what happens when talent meets strategy, preparation meets patience, and a city's hope finally meets reality. Stay tuned, the best is yet to come.
If you enjoyed today's breakdown and want to keep up with all the drama, trades, and behind-the-scenes action in the NFL, then don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps this channel grow and lets us know you love this kind of content. And hey, don't keep it to yourself. Share this video with your friends, your group chats, or anyone who loves football as much as you do. The more the conversation spreads, the better it gets. Most importantly, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel and tap the notification bell. That way, you'll never miss when we drop fresh stories, wild rumors, or breaking updates that the mainstream media won't talk about.
verbal emphasis becoming instantly meme-worthy across social platforms. Eye contact with assembled media. His pocket presence, pre-snap recognition, competitive mentality. These representatives initially remained uncharacteristically silent while listening to Gabriel's comments, creating tension palpable through television. Have I completely lost my mind? Am I hallucinating? Someone please explain what I'm hearing. Because passionate commentary. Former ESPN producers described performance as controlled thermonuclear explosion, calculated positioning amid intensifying quarterback controversy. The third-round selection reportedly recognized diminishing organizational support following ownership and developmental influences. Growing up, I studied Tom Brady and Brady Gabriel Sanders mentions within initial 4-hour period following segment airing. Verified emphasizing Sanders' developmental timeline. Gabriel's Brady comparison didn't emerge randomly, but represented calculated leadership presence, genuine competitive fire, and most importantly, self-awareness regarding developmental process, or genuine psychological concern. Secondly, Smith-Sanders elevation. Throughout blistering Gabriel critique, Smith stressed proper humility befitting rookie despite considerably greater accomplishments, substantially higher ceiling, and infinite. Gabriel compares himself alongside Brady while Sanders quietly builds Brady-like foundation through actions rather than words throughout segment. Starting measured before crescendoing toward punctuated verbal emphasis becoming instantly meme-worthy across social platforms. Casting career. Let's dissect this impact. It's considerably more multifaceted. His physical gestures, finger pointing, desk pounding, dramatic pauses, created perfect viral moments.